And by the way, I would point out, it's very interesting, you know, a lot of the issues that I'm dealing with, people think are on the employment side. But as I said in my interviews with Anna Brooke, this practice is actually on the founder side, a combination of a couple different areas of expertise that I want to highlight. So first off, it's corporate. You have to have an understanding of the basic corporate areas. I'm not a corporate lawyer like Michael is, but you have to have an understanding of the anatomy of a deal and the stock documents and the merger document and what's in those typically. Second is executive comp, which is an area dealing with benefits and stock and equity. Third is employment law, because my clients are going to be required to sign an employment agreement and need to be counseled on that. And sometimes they have to sign a release of claims, and there's other employment counseling. And then finally, there's tax and tax, or what I would call tax equity. And my job in this case is, first of all, anyone who's representing you. If you're a founder, and again, the purpose of this is not to get clients for me. The purpose is education. So if you're sitting there and you're a founder in New York and you're wondering who should I hire, and I have other videos about how you conduct a process and search using your second degree network and your first degree network to get recommendations to be a founder's counsel, but the role I'm playing is really a personal general counsel. Right. And that is, but the person who is your personal general counsel on the founder side must have experience and expertise in these three areas: corporate, employment, and exec comp. This fourth area is tax. And you have to know enough about tax to be dangerous and to be able to bring in a tax expert, which I always do on every deal. In fact, on my most recent deal, I hired one of your partners who is so expensive that
How expensive was he?
She was expensive, meaning she was actually, it's kind of funny, and I wanted to talk about this. When I told her hourly rate to my clients, they initially were worried, because her rate was higher than mine and higher than their own company counsel's rate was. And you know, I've changed in my own thinking, both as a GC when I'm wearing a GC hat and as a personal GC, I would counsel my clients not to be worried about the hourly rate, but rather the overall contribution of that expert. So her rate was extremely expensive. We were negotiating against Skadden, which is probably one of the biggest law firms in the world, out of New York. And I'll tell you, a critical issue in that deal was a tax issue. Her total time that she spent on that deal was 5 hours of time. Her rate was her rate high? From an hourly perspective, yes. From a result perspective, she was cheap. She probably saved my clients a couple $1 million. So I'm about finding the top expert. And of course, in that deal, you guys were not involved as the company lawyer, because it would have been a conflict. But in that case, I'm looking for the top expert. And Michael and I will talk later about other experts founders need, some of which I provide, but other things his firm provides, because founders have evolved into really mini corporations, and we're gonna, in terms of their legal needs, and we'll talk about that in a minute.